Thank you for listening to When Everything Cracks, a memoir of old San Francisco and the crazy, wonderful people who lived there. The original title of the first book of When Everything Cracks is 5150. Now, it turns out I thought that was a universal term, but I think it's only in California. And a 5150 transfer is when somebody's in prison and they decide to move you to the mental hospital for your own protection because you're either a danger to yourself or others. So, with that in mind, Chapter 8, General. I can't sleep. I close my eyes, and when I open them, many hours have passed, but I haven't slept. Sometimes I can leap forward in time without even closing my eyes. Redbeard is snoring right now. I don't know what time it is, but all the lights are off. I walk over to the door to my cell. I put my hand up to the magnetic lock and concentrate. It clicks. I open the door and wander out into the open area. There are concrete picnic tables where the men eat their suppers. I stretch out on top of one of the tables and close my eyes. My eyes open. It's daylight, and there's a whooping sound. Everyone is banging on their cell doors and shouting at me. "Hey man, how did you get out there? Let me out too." I turn my head just in time to receive a blow from Flashlight Jim. The crash of his fist reverberates in my ears like a cymbal. I see two of everything. I'm conscious, but I can't stand up. He drags me back to my cell, unlocks the gate, and drags me in, leaving me stretched out on the floor. Like a patient, etherized on a table. Proof rock. Elliot. Earth. The ringing sound that started with Flashlight Jim's hammer to my head does not go away. It makes me nauseous. I throw up into the seatless toilet in the corner of the cell. As the vomit flows out of me and into the bowl, I silently pray that my soul will go with it, and when I flush it away, I'll be with it, flowing down the endless river toward a new and happy self, or perhaps a sunless sea. Flashlight Jim comes back. I cower in the corner. "Show me your ID. I need to make a report." "Ha! Fat fucker. He'll never find out who I am." I hold up my empty wrists and smile. A thorough search of my cell reveals nothing. He's quite flustered. "We're going to have to find out who you are, mister, or you ain't getting out of here." I don't answer him. I don't need to. I'll just wait until the middle of the night, and I'll unlock my door and go home, wherever that is. A few hours have gone by, and there's quite a bit of buzz in and around my cell. Silence is a very powerful tool in fighting these fascist alien bastards. A man in a suit shoves a clipboard under my nose and asks me to indicate my identity off of a list of names. The list is pretty impressive. One name on the list is Jesus Martinez, which strikes me as a pretty nice name, so I choose it. Jesus. This doesn't go over too well. Damn, he's playing with us. They leave me in my cell with Redbeard, who has buddied up to me since my first escape. He's hoping I'm going to help him get out of here. Well, he'll have to make my bed for 1,000 nights before I'm letting him ride out of here with me. It's lunchtime and there's a flavorless, colorless broth with chunks of imitation earth vegetables floating around in a sea of noodles made out of library paste and cigarette filters. The other inmates seem pretty happy to eat it, but I refuse. I nibble on the edge of a biscuit. Somebody asks if they can have my soup, and they take my silence as an implied affirmative. The soup has mind-control drugs in it. I return to my bed and close my eyes. When I open them, the cell is closed and the lights are off. Redbeard is snoring very loudly. I approach the cell door and close my eyes. I concentrate. The lock clicks again, and I enter the main area. I go to the cell door that contains this common area. It doesn't unlock. There's a telephone beside it, and I dial a combination of numbers into it. It spits out a nasty sound. I hold the receiver as close to the door as I can and broadcast the beeping sound. The lock clicks. I'm free. The hallway has one fluorescent light for every 20 yards or so. I creep through the shadows, invisible. I slink into a doorway as a black guard rounds the corner. He walks right past me. I'm invisible in this doorway. I have to sneeze, and I close my mouth and cover my nose to suppress it. Although there was only a slight change in my breathing, the sound catches the attention of the guard, who is perhaps 30 yards away. He whirls around and shines his flashlight right at me. I run as fast as I can down the hallway. I'm wearing the slippers they gave me when I put on the orange suit, and they don't have much traction. As I round the corner, I see a black woman in a nurse's uniform behind a thick panel of bulletproof glass just before I lose my grip on the floor and slide onto my side. The woman must help me. I stand up and pound on the glass, and she looks up. One of her eyes is askew, looking skyward. She's one of the good, helpful aliens. With her telepathic mind, she tells me her name is Grace. She makes me feel safe and warm with her thoughts that she plants in my mind. "Help me, please!" I scream. Suddenly I feel a hand grabbing my wrist behind me and wrenching my arm halfway out of its socket. The black face of the guard leans into mine, and his breath smells of green onions and garlic salt. "Just where the hell do you think you're going?" He has one walleye, too. He's a friend. I smile at him and say, "I'm going home." "Let's see about that." The nurse comes out from behind her glass window with a hypodermic needle, which she injects into my arm. The lights go out. I haven't slept, but a lot of time seems to have passed. It's daylight, and my eyes are coming into focus. I hear the familiar clacking of an electric typewriter. The nurse is in the next room. A wall of metal bars separates me from her. I'm so glad she's taking care of me. Tears of relief pour down my face. I try to stand up, but can't. I lie back down. My head is ringing, either from Flashlight Jim's fist or Nurse Grace's needle. The nurse spins around in her swivel chair and peers at me through the bars. "You up?" "Yep." "What's your name, honey?" I don't answer. I know she's a helper alien, but I don't want any of the other aliens to hear me. I try to send my name to her with my mind, but her receiver is off. She lets out a long sigh and returns to her typing. I lie back and stare at the ceiling. She types and talks with her back to me in a soft voice. "Now, hun, we ain't gonna be able to help you and let you go if you don't tell us your name." Another time warp. According to the clock above Nurse Grace's head, it's much later. The man with the suit is talking with her. He has the same clipboard. He turns and sees my open eyes. Both his eyes are looking right at me. He's not a friend. He pokes his head into the cell and asks me politely, "Are you ready to tell us your name now?" I politely refuse by shaking my head in the negative. He withdraws and turns to the nurse. 5150 him. What does that mean? She turns around toward me and she has a great big smile on her face. She tells me with her thoughts that it's going to be okay, so I relax. 5150. I'll be okay. What else could they do to me at this point? My arm is still throbbing from being wrenched halfway out of the socket. I might already be dead, in which case they can't kill me. I think they're planning what body I'll be born into in the next life. Death is such a tedious bureaucracy. She has all these papers for me to sign, which I do, with an X. I don't want them to know who I am. A pink-faced man in a police uniform appears at the door. He opens the door to my cell and puts handcuffs on me. He walks me out of the room and to an elevator. We ride in the elevator. I look at him. He gives off a friendly vibe. I hope you'll be my father in the next life. Are you my new father? I ask him. Oddly enough, he doesn't say anything at all to me. He doesn't acknowledge my question. The elevator doors open and we're in a parking garage with police cars. How strange. The doors have 6 pointed stars on them, like the Star of David. He puts me in the back of one of the Jewish police cars. Am I going home? I hope he'll answer me. He turns to me and says, Not exactly. I'm worried. They have ways of springing big surprises on me here, and I'm not willing to tolerate another one. He sees the panic in my face and says, It'll be a lot better than this hellhole, that's for sure. Then he turns back and starts the ignition on the car. He puts it in reverse and backs out of the parking space. I see light. It's the exit to the garage. He drives toward it. I'm being reborn. The sunlight is too bright. There's no doctor to smack me on my bottom. I look down at my body, fully expecting to be an infant, but I seem to be the same person I was before. Where are we going? General. What in the hell does that mean? This guy gives me better answers than almost anyone I've met so far, and they still suck. I close my eyes, and when I open them again, we're in a giant parking lot. Pinkface stops the car and gets out, walking around to my door. He opens it and asks me to step out. I get up, barely able to stand, shivering in the early morning fog. My orange suit is too thin to protect me from the elements. I haven't breathed real air in a few days at least. I fill my lungs and exhale, smiling. Pinkface leads me by the cuffs toward a sliding glass door on the side of a giant concrete building. The doors slide open automatically and we're inside a lobby. There are rows of chairs in the lobby, all of them empty. There's a desk manned by a thin white woman in librarian spectacles. She smiles at me as I approach the counter. I lean up against the counter, breathless, and smile at her. Well, hello, who do we have here? Won't give a name, says Pinkface. Well, this is going to be very difficult. Do you want to give me your name, young man? As much as I do, I'm afraid that they'll have some nasty surprise waiting for me as soon as they have me identified. All the walls will melt away and I'll be back in the prison duped by a hologram. There's a phone on the desk and it rings. The lady with the glasses picks it up. Yes? I see. Right away, doctor. She puts the phone down. I have to see Dr. File for a moment if you could just have a seat. As she turns her back to me, I make a grab for the phone. I haven't heard a dial tone in days. The phone has a dial tone. Pinkface slaps the receiver out of my hand. The noise causes the librarian woman to turn around. No, let him use the phone. Is this a trick? I don't care anymore. I need to talk to Grandma. I need to tell her that I didn't mean to solve the puzzle. I really should have left it all alone. Pinkface hands me the phone. I dial 1, the area code, the number. It's ringing. Hello? It's Grandma. She answered. Grandma, it's me. Where have you been? I don't know. The receiver is snatched from me by a man in a doctor's coat. Where did he come from? Tears well up in my eyes. I can't help myself. Please, let me have it back. I lash out toward the doctor, trying to get the phone back. Out of nowhere, 2 large men appear. They wrestle me to the floor. I can see out of the corner of my eye that the doctor is talking to my grandmother. I want my grandma. Grandma, help me! The librarian comes at me with a hypodermic needle. I try to get away, but the 2 men are infinitely stronger than I am. Where's a chunk of kryptonite when you need it? I feel a sharp pain in my buttocks, and instantly everything gets very fuzzy. It doesn't go black, it just slows down. The men peel me up off the floor. I can't really hold my head up anymore. I'm as limp as a freshly run over snake. I can't tell what they're doing because I can't lift my head off the table. I'm on my back, on a table, and there's a leather smell. I feel leather going around my wrists. I'm on a table. I already said that, but I have to keep telling myself that or I might slide into something. The fluorescent lights hurt my eyes. Did somebody hear my thoughts? The lights just went off, and the door closed. There's a tiny window in the door, which is all that lets light into my space. I feel like I should be scared, but my brain hurts too much to care. I drift down a very uncomfortable river toward what might be sleep.